Nobody wants to see that, do they? Who wants to see somebody beat up somebody else? That's a form of bullying, isn't it? Hey, listen, look, he comes from Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart is one of the best trainers ever in the world. So, the guy knows his job, and you know what it is? All trainers need maximum credit, and I give credit to any trainer. It's not an easy job, this. So, no, the man's obviously talented. He knows his fighters.
And his dad's coming from. However, it's Tyson's decision, and if he's going to come back, he's fighting in a couple of weeks' time. I'd much rather he does it now than sits around for 4 or 5. Does it? His powers won't be the same. He's not got a lot of miles on the clock. We will see. I mean, I think the big thing with John, what upsets John, is the training.
2.5 mil. I'm looking at the cameras. 2.5 million sterling. SAP. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to look at you. I don't like you.
In a real fight, it's panic. The panic really sets in. If you get hit in a real fight, when you get hit in sparring, it's like, you know what, the worst thing that can happen, I get a bit embarrassed. But if you get put over in a fight, it's like...
You don't care. I don't look at it. I'm not interested in it. I'm interested when fights are signed on a line. Well, whether he can take them or not, he shouldn't be taking them, and he knows that. But when he's on his A game and he boxes, he can box. He ticks all the boxes, trust me.
Straight man.
But you're serious about it, though, aren't you?
Serious. Serious. I'm a Christian man in the name of Jesus. I'm as serious as that. Don't bother about fighting me. Pay me 2.5 million, we'll fight next week. As soon as possible.
All he's doing is attention seeking, and he's getting more attention now, but yeah, him anyway. Tyson Fury, Makvedov. Good little fight. Tyson's nice and relaxed. He's coming back. Again, after retiring, he's back out of retirement. We kind of knew it was going to happen. He seems in a good place. He seems quite happy. He's not out of shape. He's in his usual shape, which isn't great shape in terms of physicalities to look at. He's not good on the optics, but he's in shape because he's not 28 stone.
But he's saying that Tyson isn't himself anymore. And I tend to agree with John Fury. He's certainly not at his best anymore. I mean, how could he be after everything he's been through and stuff like that? So I tend to agree with that, right? But he was saying words to the effect of that the Wilder trilogies took
time condition.
Love that John is just so confident in himself. He would gas inside of 2 rounds. 2 rounds, but if he even made it 2 rounds with Carl Froch, he would gas probably in the first round. He's 60 years old. I'm not saying he couldn't hobble about for 4 rounds or something, but he would be gassed inside of 2. Because the way that John runs is
Duke McKenna.
And then there's Froch, who's been paid to fight. He's used to getting money for knocking guys out. I'm sure if they put enough knocks in front of Carl Froch, then he might rise to it. But he ain't going to rise to it if there's no money on the table, if there's no end goal. If you want to punch up, you can go out in the street and have that any day of the week.
Peter Fury just called his own brother John a total disgrace to the family name. And honestly, he's not wrong. This family feud is getting absolutely wild.
I'm sure Tyson prefer that not to be said, and I'm a big believer. You keep you haven't got to tell the world what you got.
John Fury's been demanding fights with Carl Froch like some drunk guy at a pub. But here's the thing: Peter's had enough of the constant chaos and attention-seeking nonsense that's embarrassing the entire Fury legacy.
He's alluding to Sugar Hill Stewart, the people around him. I assume that's who John's talking about here when he says, people are acting like his friends and they're acting like they got his best interest, but they don't, and he's not listening to me anymore, and he should have been doing easier fights, which, again, if Tyson's not fighting for a belt, I understand the need to fight a contender to get back to the belt, which is why I think it's kind of tough. But
Shane Fury reflect.
Meanwhile, Carl Froch isn't backing down. He's calling John a big bully and exposing every single one of his ridiculous antics. The man who knocked out George Groves at Wembley thinks John's a complete joke.
The thing is there's nothing more left in life for these boxers. When these great boxers what's completed the game and they've got everything, what else can Tyson do? There's only so much yachts and sailing, and there's only so much flying on holidays, and there's only so much fucking whatever a normal person thinks is good you can do before you.
But get this, while John's out there making a fool of himself, Tyson Fury is actually looking sharp and focused. Peter admits his nephew is back in top form, relaxed and ready to dominate when he's not dealing with family drama.
Listening to John because
He is straightforward, and people always say to me, "Oh, he's a nutcase, he's an idiot, he's kicking off." I mean, not really. I says that's the kind of public John Fury that you see. But if you've dealt with him, you know, off camera and behind the scenes over the years, you know he's a different type of fella. But he does get emotional when he's doing interviews, and quite rightly so, because it's his son. And you know, I don't care what anybody says, when you're in the position where John Fury is, and he's kind of come through with Tyson all the way through the amateurs, everything else. No matter what anybody says, a proper father is always going to have the son's back, no matter what. And in boxing, there's so many sycophants hanging about, waiting to take advantage.
Here's where it gets crazy, though. Liam Gallagher's pointing out that John actually opposed Tyson's comeback. The father doesn't even think his own son is at his best after everything he's been through.
He said, whatever, I think he's a bully, John Fury. I think he's a proper bully, and he talks about fighting man. I don't buy none of it. I don't buy it.
Wade Plemons absolutely destroyed John's confidence, saying he wouldn't last one round against Froch. 1 round. The man would be gassed in minutes, according to multiple experts who have watched this unfold.
You get embarrassed as well, so yeah, when that happens for the first time in a fight scenario, it's a totally different kettle of fish. And it's not nice when it happens in the gym, to be honest.
Dave, let me ask you then, because listen, he's only had 13 professional fights, Moses Atoma, and the last time he fought was last year, in August. For someone who's had so few little fights, is he out there often enough, do you think, or do you think that the amount?
Frank Warren dropped some truth bombs too. He made it crystal clear that Tyson's comeback is his choice, driven by passion for the sport, not his father's meddling or desperate need for attention and validation.
You repair them in private, not in the public domain. John, on the times that I've met John, I found him to be engaging and charming. But there's other times when I've seen him whether it's an act, or created or whatever, it's boorish, it's unpalatable, it's unpleasant. When you headbutt Ukrainians in front of, you know, Saudi royalty and behave yourself in a way that's not particularly appetizing, you get judged by it. So, with due respect to the fact it's a scoop for these guys, I'm not hugely interested in John Fury.
The difference between real fighters and attention seekers is becoming painfully obvious. Froch earned his respect through preparation and skill. John just postures and demands fights he can't handle.
I have people around me, never have and I never will, because I'm a psychopath. I can't have 1 million people around me, because it doesn't work. I've just have the same old people I've always knew, that's it. I'm not interested in making new friends. I'm not interested in what the next man's got. I'm not interested in what the next door neighbour's doing. Don't care. Keep myself.
Shane McGuigan revealed something interesting. Tyson used to strategically use John's chaos when it benefited him. But now, he doesn't need that interference anymore. The student became the master.
Tyson, I think, used his dad to keep him involved and as a infiltrator, you know, someone that can shout and scream and cause a bit of chaos and unrest, you know. And I think, like, he doesn't need that in this fight, so he might make a use.
Even Eddie Hearn, who respects John's past contributions, admits the constant public drama has overshadowed everything positive. The man who once guided Tyson is now just creating unnecessary noise and distractions.
You can't show your father respect when it's needed. Keep going. I don't need you. I don't need him and his millions. I need nothing off him. I wish him well, but he's put those people before me, his blood father. That's me like you wouldn't believe. So, they can jog on. Yeah. And I mean.
Darren Till called it perfectly. John's hiding behind macho posturing and ridiculous demands. He's a bully who talks tough but lacks the skill or discipline to back up any of his threats.
Because he called me a fake and a fraud, fake hard man. I will show him how much of a fake hard man I am. He's the one that's shying away.
Simon Jordan summed up what everyone's thinking. John's turning private family disputes into public spectacle, and it's tarnishing the Fury name while Tyson tries to focus on his actual career.
Stuck it on Carl Froch in his space, I think he would chin him immediately.
Really? Even live on Netflix?
Yes.
So here's the reality check. John Fury's become a caricature of himself, demanding fights he can't win while his son continues dominating at the highest level. Carl Froch would embarrass him in seconds, and everyone knows it. The question is, will John finally realize he's damaging his family's legacy or keep digging this hole deeper? Drop your thoughts below because this family drama is far from over. Smash that like button if you think Peter Fury's right to call out his brother, and subscribe for more boxing chaos that you won't see anywhere else.